Welcome back to Clay Life Studio. This is going to be a short tutorial on opening. So you've centered your clay, but you need to create the inside to create the bottom, inside bottom of the piece. So I want you to take your wheel speed somewhere in the medium to medium slow rate. It doesn't actually matter which way your wheel's going when you do this. I just leave it going counterclockwise. Elbows. Elbows need to be down, but instead of backing your body to start with, I want you to start way outside at your knees. I want you to put your thumbnails together. I want you to rest them where you think the middle is and just feel that spot. It should feel like everything is moving around them. Then I want you to take your fingers and I want you to rest them down so that they touch the bat. I see a lot of people opening with their centers up, and it's real easy to get loose when you do that. You want to rest them down just to give you more stability. Now, because it gets crowded in the front, because I like to rotate my fingers forward, I'll take my right hand and I'll rotate those fingers back to keep them out of the way of the other hand. So this is what it looks like. I'm actually going to put my seat up a tiny bit so I'm over my clay better. Put my elbows down, thumbnail to thumbnail. I'm going to feel the middle, and I'm taking my thumbs and I'm taking them straight down. With the tip of my thumbs are going straight down in the middle, and I want to make the smallest hole possible with those two thumbs. I'm going to push a little bit, and then I'm going to pull out. You're going to feel it get sticky almost immediately, and when you do, just pull back out. Add a little bit of water and set your thumbs back in there. Now at this point, you'll be able to feel whether or not you're in the middle. If you're not, you're going to feel this. And if you are, if that happens, you can just get rid of that hole. You can simply come back, put a finger inside the hole, push the clay down on the outside, and it's gone. Go back to your centering. And if you haven't seen me center, if you haven't watched that lesson, go back and watch it. If you have questions about the techniques, let's come off really slow. Okay, coming away. Now let's feel if this little dimple's in the middle. If it is, that's great. If it's not, I can just get rid of it. Okay. You can feel the middle with just one finger. You can feel that spot where everything's coming around. Doesn't feel like you're getting pulled. All right, let's go back and do it again. So thumbnail to thumbnail. Find that spot, rest those fingers, push down a little bit. Elbows are down and they're wide. They're out towards my knees. Small indentation, add a little bit of water. Feels good, I'm gonna keep going. So I push down again, I stop. I make sure it feels like I'm still in the middle. If I'm not, I can adjust, find the middle again, and push down again. That way, if I've missed, I've only missed in one section, not the whole way down. Okay, let's clean this off. Now the second part of this is really super important. There's going to be times where you just slightly miss the middle, and that's okay when you drop down. You'll get better and better at it. It'll get faster and easier. But the second part is vital that you do this really, really well. For this step, to widen that opening, because we're not going to throw, unless this is a really tall shot glass, we're not going to leave it just this far open. So I need to pull it back, and here are the keys. First of all, those elbows that were really wide, bring them back now into your rib cage. Get them tight up against your belly. The sides there, your ribs tight, down on your thighs. I'm up on my tippy toes so that I have my legs supporting my arms. Gives me more stability. I'm going to put a couple of fingers in, a couple of fingers on top, and then I'm going to pull back straight towards my midline. And if I've gotten off a little bit when I dropped in originally, I'll be able to straighten that out a bit here. I'm going to pull out nice and easy. So the key is to be super strong And you get that by having those elbows down and back. Steady, which means a slow, consistent pace. And you want to use your fingertips as the point of initial contact. Those fingertips are pulling through first. Now what happens when you hook your fingers a little bit and you're pulling back? What happens is you're undercutting the wall first, so that when the rest of your fingers hit this meaty section where most of the clay is, this section has been undercut. Well, that takes all the fight out of it. If you've ever been opening and you feel like, oh gosh, I mean, it's just fighting me as I open and I keep getting pulled off, try undercutting. Try hooking those fingers first. Because as soon as it's undercut, it loses all of its power. It comes back easy. So if you're an advanced potter and you're watching this, apply this to clay that goes from edge of the bat to edge of the bat. And then when you're pulling back and you're hooking those fingers, you'll find it comes back so much easier than when you were trying to straight pull it back towards your body. And you're fighting all of that mass at one time and it's kicking you and it's throwing you around. By undercutting, you'll find that doesn't happen. It just comes back easy. So, now this line here that was created simply by the pressure of my hands, however you touch the clay, it's going to form to that pressure. Don't worry about this when you see it. Don't get excited about it. Finish pulling back first and then simply come back and push it back down. And you can put your finger outside, your finger inside and your thumb outside. Because this is the point here that sticks up the most, I would just rest my thumb right outside that and inside. And I'm just going to push down ever so gently to push that clay back into this mass. And that is opening. Now, if you're going to do a bowl, one thing I should add is you're going to have to open a little bit wider. But before you do that, after you've got your clay nice and centered, go ahead and push down a little bit harder on that centering to widen the mass first. That way you have the clay starting a little wider so it's easy to continue to pull back. The last thing we want to do is have a mound that's really appropriate for, say, a cup or a narrow vase, and then try to make it into a wide bowl, because this clay will have to start laying over onto the bat. And if this doesn't make any sense to you right now, don't worry about it. You'll get there. It'll make a lot of sense later on. But just make sure that you pull back a little farther if you're doing a bowl. And then what you can do is people say, well, you've undercut it, and that's not a bowl shape. Well, because it's undercut, it's very easy now to just lay it out. So all I'm doing is simply shifting my fingers ever so slightly to put pressure out, to open that out nice and wide. So now we've begun the bowl shape before our very first raise. So that's opening for beginners. I hope that was helpful. If it was, make sure to put a thumbs up and follow and all that good stuff. Appreciate your support. All right. Have a good day.